I suggest now that we all strip ourselves stark, BALLOCK, naked.
I've mentioned before that Burgess, by his own admission, never had sexual congress with an Englishwoman. It is also the case that Burgess never had sexual congress with a Russian woman. In Leningrad in 1961, when he paid a visit to the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, he was fortunate to have sexual relations with a Finnish woman. In You've Had Your Time, being the second part of the Confessions of Anthony Burgess, he writes,
At last, I made love to a girl of the Baltic. She was Finnish, and her name was Helvi. She'd been in some kind of trouble in Helsinki, and was now, on and off, the mistress of Sasha.
I should explain that Sasha was the bloke in whose flat Burgess was staying for about a week, while his wife was in a Leningrad hospital.
Helvi was growing tired, she admitted, of Sasha's embraces. She needed someone maturer, gentler, more experienced. Her Russian was much on my level.
The encounter is described in Burgess's 1963 novel, Honey for the Bears, which incidentally contains what, in my view, is possibly the best description of erectile dysfunction in modern literature.
So he opened up moistly, trying to insinuate his tongue in. She, of course, tried to jerk her head away, still fisting strongly at his chest. So he plunged his own fingers into the wet head of hair and held her skull rigid, stopping her mouth with a no-nonsense firmness. It became necessary then to immobilize her completely, for she was using those witch's nails to tear at his cheeks. Gravity. The resourceful man makes use of gravity, bed, and the posture of Venus observed. He had her flat on that bed in no time. Be persistent, he told himself, and every woman must soften. It's in the nature of woman to yield. Gasping, he released her mouth and swallowed a chestful of Russian air. He in the creaking bed had her sandwiched beautifully. An image of trying to eat a live frog sandwich, some cruel Pravda political cartoon of the French in Algeria. She yelled at him. In a glorious transport of triumph, he raised himself sufficiently to deliver a ringing smack on her left cheek. Hadn't he done that before somewhere, to somebody else, here in Leningrad? Seemed too long ago to remember. Anna looked up at him with a child's eyes and a doll's red cheek. Then she started to howl like a child. Paul tumbled into a great, soft, membranous pit of tenderness, saying, There, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Kissing her all over in a punctuation of remorse and a softer sort of desire. And now he was free to crush a dark nipple between his lifeline and his heartline, the milk-blue flesh starting up between his spread fingers. She became all passivity, all waiting. Suddenly, the life went out of what he was trying to do. The big, proud chord on the electric organ faded to niente with the coming of a power cut, though the player's hands stayed in position. Once, at 9 years old, he'd heard an older boy explain in the elementary school urinal what it was that a man did with a woman. Paul had wanted to know why. What was the point? What could they possibly get out of it? It was like that now. Or as in a theatre, the actor playing Mellors in a stage version of Lady Chatterley would be preoccupied with things quite different from what the love scene was about. It was like that.